guys, what's up? It's Joe Rady from Rady's Rides. We're back here at Tasca Buick GMC Palm Harbor, and guess what? We have that compact crossover SUV that's finally getting some big changes. What vehicle is it? It's this one right here. This is a 2025 GMC Terrain. This particular one is the Elevation trim, and it's got all-wheel drive. But before we get into this new redesign of their compact crossover, let's talk about what's going on here. GMC, General Motors Truck Company. It's not just about trucks anymore. GMC wisened up when they saw SUVs skyrocketing in the sales departments. It was all about adding vehicles to their lineup to meet those needs. Now, they still have plenty of trucks, but they also have a full SUV lineup. The Terrain is actually their smallest. It goes Terrain, Acadia, Yukon. Very simple, makes sense, but you know what? Wait until you see the changes that they brought. Now, in this compact crossover segment, there's a lot of tough competition, especially from the OGs from Honda and Toyota. So what I want to find out is this new Terrain better than a Honda CR-V? Let's go ahead, let's dive into ours and find out. Right off the bat, this color, it may look like a regular flat blue. It's not. It's called Rapids Metallic. And just like the water, it's got a nice metal flake to it when you see it in the sun. And right on cue, the sun comes out. So as we kind of come on in, you'll see the sparkle of the metallic in the Rapids color. It's literally called Rapids Metallic. You'll also notice all new headlight design. Love the way they went with the C-shape interlocking design like they do on the Yukon and the Acadia. Full LED headlights, a little bit of shiny chrome on the inside of the headlight housing. And then working our way down, you have nice large corner air curtains, just a little bit of gloss black, but nothing fake. And then you'll also notice on the Elevation trim, just some of that shiny bright metal work in a C shape, just like the headlight housing is. Now, the way that it works for 2025 on the Terrain is that your entry trim is going to be the Elevation, and that is what this is. In 2026 model year, they will have the Denali and the AT4. So they got rid of the complication of SLE, SLT, blah, 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 blah. Elevation, you could get front-wheel drive standard, or ours, like I said, has the optional all-wheel drive. Now, as we come across the updated refresh grille, that GMC badge looks fantastic. You do have a bit of shiny chrome, but I think it works with the gloss black. Nicely set up. Working our way down, some of that Rapids Metallic color, and then we have some metallic gray and some flat black. Now, in these lower flat black areas, there's active shutters back behind there because that's where we have the intercooler for our turbocharged engine. And those are going to open and close when needed. But definitely really digging the nice grown-up face of the Terrain. And I know growing up really sucks. It's not worth growing up, kids. Stay a kid forever if you can. But the mature face on this Terrain really fits it well. Now, as we rise up, I like the way the hood is nice and high. We're moving away from those curved jelly bean hoods. Really's got a nice indentation in the center, nice bold look to it. And then as we come around the bend, of course, if we got new headlights and we got new grills and front fascias, we have new wheels as well. Feast your eyes on the standard wheel from the Elevation. This is a 19-inch wheel. Love the machined aluminum, the dark gunmetal metallic gray finish. If you're wondering, well, Joe, what about size of tires? 235 on the width, 55 series sidewall. And like I said, ours is all-wheel drive, so it's front-wheel drive base. And then when slippage is detected, it will send power to the rear wheels. Now, on the Elevation trim, I'm okay with the flat black. If when we do the Denali trim, if it has flat black, it's gonna get a zonk. But on this Elevation trim, entry trim, I'm okay with it. What do you think? Do you like the style so far compared to a CR-V? Let me know in the comment section. Now, as we come down the side, we got painted black mirror caps. And then I like the way that there's no gloss black trim around the window frame openings. You got your Terrain badge prominently displayed. And then from the side of the vehicle, Like I said, this is a compact. It's not a midsize, compact crossover SUV. Lots and lots of competition. So glad that they did color match on the door handles. And then up top, you'll notice our raised roof rails. And I like the way they went with this aluminum style to the roof rail. You could get your crossbars, all those goodies. Down below, you do have flat black, but it does work with the flat black around the fender openings. And then as we come towards the rear, nice size on the quarter window. I do like the way this portion kind of extends up into the roof line. Styling wise, they really, like I said, they raised the game of the Terrain. Now swinging around back, just like up front, you're gonna get all new lighting, and it is all LED. CR-V doesn't have all LED, I can tell you that. Nice long roof spoiler. I just wish this wiper would tuck underneath. So that is a zonk, but GMC badge pops nicely against the Rapids metallic. We have our Terrain all-wheel drive badge. And then working our way down the ground level, I like the nice, simple, clean bumper area with the gunmetal gray and the black. The one zonk I have, that looks stupid. That's a zonk. The way the Elevation name is black, but everything else is silver. I don't like that. That doesn't make sense. And if it doesn't make sense, then it's a zonk. Therefore, this being gloss black, either make one or the other gloss black, not one, and then have the other be something totally different. That doesn't make sense. That's a zonk. But let's go ahead, let's pop the hood and talk about if there's anything new powering this Terrain. All right, guys, we got the hood popped. You do have a prop rod. I'm not gonna zonk it because this is an entry trim, and a lot of the competition has prop rods. Now, underneath the hood, Ecotech. What does that mean? That's that turbocharged power plant from GMC. The sad news is there's no major changes to it. So it's a 1.5 liter turbocharged inline four, 175 horsepower, 203 pound-feet of torque. The great news is when you go all-wheel drive, you do not, as in don't, get a CVT. You get an 8-speed automatic transmission, 0 to 60 around 7.6 seconds. MPG's 24 in the city, 28 on the highway, and the vehicle tows right around 1,500 pounds. So like I said, falls nicely within the competition realm of this compact class, especially the CR-V. But why don't we go ahead, let's fire it up and see it move. All right, guys, we are inside this 2025 redesign GMC Terrain, the new Elevation trim, which is your entryway into the Terrain family. I know you're saying to yourself, well, Joe, I need a new SUV. I don't want something big. I don't want a Yukon. That's too big for my needs. But I definitely want a GMC. How much is this one? MSRP, the way that this one is optioned, is right around $36,590. Let's see what GMC is bringing on this new Terrain to the door panels. Nice, clean style. Soft touch material up top. I'm really digging this silver grayish tech design. And then you have a little bit of that aluminum style trim. No gloss black to report anywhere. Soft touch on the armrest with the white contrast stitching. And then your door pocket is good enough for 2 Wendy's burgers, large fry, and a Coca-Cola to wash it down. Now, when you go from the door panel to the dash, more of that great material. I like the way they elevated the material in here, especially with this tech trim that they got going on. Down below, you got a nice little cubby where you could put your merch, your purse, your fanny pack, a hat, a beret, and then you have the all-new 15-inch portrait-style infotainment system screen. Now, it isn't totally integrated into the dash, but they did a good job on the placement of it. You have your full suite of Google apps with the Google Maps and the Google Assistant. Very, very fast on the response every time you touch it. You got your climate control. Love the colors, the graphics, cameras. Very good camera quality compared to a Honda, that's for sure. And then when you scroll, you got to go up and down, remember, because this is portrait style. And then we're right back to the maps. You got your start stop button, and we have an electric shifter on the steering column. That opens up this space because down below you got a real volume knob. We have 3 stages of heated seats, which you do have to touch the screen. But the good news is, to adjust the dual climate control, you just use the toggle switches. Real switches. Makes sense. We have a nice little cubby where you could pour a bag of M&Ms in here, 1 pound bag, melts in your mouth, not in your car. USB-A, USB-C, 2 cup holders. Wireless charging, you just drop right in there. More of that soft touch material with the stitching. Open it up, you got a nice little tray. This is where you could put your girlfriend, her class ring that you held on to. Remember when you guys broke up and you didn't give it back to her because you wanted to really stick it to her since she broke up with you? This is where you could keep her ring. Just if you're married now, you may not want to keep the ring in here. Just a little piece of advice. Room, you could easily put, I would say, 6 Sony Walkmans in there. So if you still have your Sony Walkman from back when you were in school, all 6 of them, you can keep them in there. I don't know why you would have 6 Sony Walkman. I had 1. I had a Walkman, and I had a, what else did I have? I had a Sony CD player that I used to carry around as well. Little small one. So kind of interesting time. Seat material, nice and soft. The stitching, the bolstering, manual adjustments in the elevation trim. I have an 8-way adjustable, power adjustable seat for the driver. And up top, there isn't a sunroof, which I would expect that at this trim level. But why don't you come over here? I got 11 inches of screen I want to show you. It's gonna blow your mind. Come on over. All right, guys, business time behind the wheel. You do have your seat controls, really easily accessible. I love these seats. They really changed up the cushion for the pushing because I'm pushing my body on it and it feels great. Very, very comfy. I'm 6 feet tall. Don't let the word compact scare you away from this. It's got a lot of space. Steering wheel, nice leather, even on the elevation trim with your stitching. You got flat black on the switchgear, heated steering wheel with the GMC name there. You have paddles to go up and down that 8-speed automatic. And then you also have an all-new 11-inch digital gauge cluster. You could bring up the maps. You could bring up your adaptive cruise. Really nice to have all that information all by the press of a button. And then on the side over here is where you could go through your different modes, which I'm going to have Steven kind of show you on the infotainment system. I almost forgot, Steven. Nice, beautiful graphics. I mean, look at that when you go into your modes, normal, off-road, and snow and ice. Let's build a snowman. And you can literally turn off the all-wheel drive all by the press of a button. You could go front-wheel drive or all-wheel drive, depending on what your needs are. But let's get in the back seat and see if your passengers' needs are going to be met back there in the Terrain. All right, guys, back seat time. And this is another area where I feel like they almost shrunk me because of how much space I have back here. Really, really great amount of room. You do have pockets. This is where you could put your chocolate chip cookies. Have those piled up in there. We got USB-Cs, and I like the way they mount them high up top so your kids don't have to reach too low. We got rear AC vents, and you got a little cubby down there for some Tootsie Rolls. Very impressive with the amount of room. And then pulling this down, nice center armrest with 2 cup holders. Let's go ahead, let's get in that cargo area because I want to take you for a spin in this new Terrain. All right, guys, time to get into the cargo area. What's great is even on the elevation trim, you have a power lift back, which is nice, rises up super clean. You'll notice a very nice large amount of space that's usable. How much space do we have? Almost 30 cubic feet of space with the seats up. You fold down this back seat, you're almost looking at 64 cubic feet of space. I love the way that they have nooks here for boxes of Twinkies on both sides. And then the other bit of news, which is awesome, to put the seats down, it's real simple. You're just gonna push the button on the top of the seat, and then you're gonna push. So it's a double push. Push, tap, nice flat area. Now you're looking at almost 64 cubic feet of space. And what is underneath the cargo floor? Tons of storage. I mean, look at that. That's what makes it very accessible, especially to use for that adventure vehicle. But you know what? I'm ready to go for a little adventure. If you're ready, I'm ready. Hop in and let's go see how this new Terrain drives.
All right, guys, we are behind the wheel of this 2025 redesigned GMC Terrain. Right away, the one thing I love right off the bat, it hasn't even been 2 seconds leaving Tasca Buick GMC, is the comfort of these seats. I am in love with these seats. They feel and look fantastic for an entry-level trim. And then, of course, getting to that 15-inch infotainment system is well within reach. You have that 11-inch digital gauge cluster and really fantastic visibility. Now, I know for some people it's a bummer that they didn't add more horsepower from the 1.5 liter turbocharged engine, but when you compare this to a lot of the competition, it's close horsepower wise. What I love is that our particular one is a all-wheel drive, and our all-wheel drive example, and we have the 8-speed automatic. Now, going through the modes, I'm going to go ahead and keep it in normal. I wish there was more of a sport mode, would be nice, but I'll just keep it in normal mode. And I have the all-wheel drive activated. You could deactivate it all by the press of a button. And if you're wondering, well, why would you want to do that? If you're on the highway and it's not snowing, you're going to want to have it just front-wheel drive. That's going to save some money when it comes to MPGs. But I think the way that they got rid of some of the other trims and really just kind of shaved it down to just 3 trims really elevates what you get in this elevation trim, and that's no pun intended. Getting to the AC controls, the nice toggle switches, the wireless charging is in a smart place, and everything else just is very well organized in here. I even like how high the hood is. I mean, it gives it more of a muscular look to it compared to a Honda CR-V. Plus, I like the more straightforward design of this Terrain over, say, a Hyundai Tucson or a Kia Sportage. But the drivability is really fantastic. They did a great job on the chassis, the suspension, the sound deadening material. It's just that if you want more power, this 1.5 liter turbocharged engine isn't gonna make you happy. It just isn't. But if you're okay with not having the most horsepower out of all your friends, I think you're gonna like just how usable and the technology is in this vehicle, especially when it comes from a use standpoint. The great news is that the 8-speed shifts very well. Better than some of the transmissions in the competition. And just be aware that if you do buy just a front-wheel drive elevation, it does come with just a CVT. But this has the 8-speed automatic because we have all-wheel drive. But really just a comfortable driving experience in this vehicle. You got the paddles if you want to go up and down the 8-speed automatic. But what you're gonna love is the new tech. I mean, the 11-inch digital gauge cluster is awesome. How you could bring up your Google Maps very easily. And just very intuitive to use. Of course, you're gonna have all the safety features. Let's see how on throttle is, uphill. On throttle, here we go. So 8-speed drops down and we're off and running. I'm not gonna lie, it is a little sluggish, but I do like the way this drives better than a CR-V. Remember, CR-V does have a CVT, and for me, that just kills the whole experience. I prefer the 8-speed automatic in this car. But the way that this thing just rides down the road is really nice. There is a little bit of a wind noise. Obviously, we got the raised roof rails, but road noise, you're fine. Let's see how the handling is. We're gonna go in this right-hand bend. I'm on the brakes. Nice, composed. Good feedback from the wheel. And the wheel is not too heavy and it's not too soft, the feedback that you're getting from the electric steering rack. But we're coming up to a stoplight, and this is gonna be able to really show us from a dead stop what the on throttle is like. Ready? On throttle. So once the boost builds, you're off and running. And I really feel like the 8-speed is paired very well with this power plant, because it's not really searching for gears. It kind of knows exactly what gear to go into to get you going at a good clip. And you know, I mean, 7.5 seconds 0 to 60 is not the fastest, but it's also not the slowest. But I think overall they did a fantastic job with the changes that they made to the Terrain. And this color, Rapids Metallic, definitely gives it a little bit of extra pizzazz. But we're gonna go ahead and get back to Tasca Buick GMC Palm Harbor and wrap this one up. So I'll see you in a split second. All right, guys, been another great day here at Tasca Buick GMC in Palm Harbor. Definitely got to thank Mean Dean. And what's great about Mean Dean, he's actually really not that mean. He's very, very nice. Dean and the rest of the crew getting us access to this 2025 redesign Terrain Elevation trim. Now it's your turn. Let me know what you think in the comment section. Are you gonna go with one of the OGs, the Honda CR-V, or are you digging this new Terrain? Let me know in the comment section. But if you're new to the channel, you're on your way out, hit that subscribe button. I promise you it's worthwhile. Come back for more. If you are a subscriber, thank you for being part of the Raised Rise family. We gotta thank Stephen Flood. He just got back from a camping trip where he was out in the Ocala National Forest Park for a week with no technology. He literally had to use flint rock to start his fires, and he actually had to capture his own food. But he made it back in one piece. Thank you, Stephen, for all that you do. And just like always, guys, I'll see you on the next ride.